Hey y'all, it's Harley. Welcome to Chaos Connections, the not safe for work podcast, removing the filters from the Instagram of parenting. We're three moms, myself, Harley, and also Rain and Raven, parenting our darling crotch goblins through various stages and phases while trying to maintain our relationships, our careers. Hopefully, there's a sense of humor in there because it's needed, and our sense of self. Join us through our triumphs, laugh at, and commiserate with our struggles, and just overall marvel at our batshit crazy lives. Just be mindful of our motto, which is written in Latin that I can't pronounce, but I can tell you translates to FAFO. Fuck around and find out. Enjoy the show. Rain, we're recording, babe.
I was waiting for the numbers to stop and the little thing to pop up. So, hey, everybody. So, this week's episode of Chaos Connections, what are some of the things that we had to learn the hard way that they should have really taught us in school?
Oh boy.
Taxes, how to communicate as a functional adult instead of a child.
How to actually ask for what you want instead of hinting or just
That's the communication part, honey.
I have a big one, and I hope that I don't completely steal the podcast.
How active is your happy pill?
I don't know.
That kind of will depend on how much of the show you steal.
Well,
I love how I'm getting flipped off right now.
I wasn't trying to. I was wiping a pimple on my chin. So, all right. So, okay. I will say this. Not for Gremlin 1 or Gremlin 2 that I have experienced, but Gremlin 3 did actually have a homework packet where they had to work out if they had a particular job, how much their gross income would be, what their net income would be, and they had to work on a budget of, housing and things like that. So that they are
What class?
they are teaching budgeting. Of all classes, I think it was actually English.
Some English teachers will do that. But the thing of it is there's a lot of English teachers that are actually really good. This sounds so fucked up. Are actually really good teachers.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that the teachers that they have now are typically our age or oh dear God. The elder Gen Zers.
Mhm.
Oh God, I feel so fucking old.
Or they're younger. They're younger than us.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Just
So
they're still in Gen Z because Gen Alpha's
they are
turning 14 this year.
Jesus. So I had a home ec in school. And so I did learn how to sew on a button, and I learned how to make
cooking.
a casserole thing from a recipe. But that's the only cooking instruction I ever got from anybody.
Yeah, I took home ec. I took home ec.
So
I
didn't take home ec.
When I got out on my own and had to cook and had no fucking clue what I was doing.
And you didn't have the internet at your fingertips?
Did not have the internet at my fingertips, and had a husband at the time who was a huge fan of Hamburger Helper Chili Mac.
I like making that homemade.
I cannot stomach it to this day.
I like making it homemade, but I don't always do ground beef. I'll do stew meat, or cube up a roast. Saute that up, mix that in there. And then of course, if I do that with my homemade mac and cheese, even bigger hit. I don't know who on this show likes my homemade mac and cheese.
Well, I'm probably going to be making it next week because I figured. So, dear listeners, I don't know if you got the news, but Raven does not currently have a job. So that means that I have
for a job. I am employed, however,
yeah,
it is a call center gig and it is a paycheck.
Yes, it is a paycheck, and Rain has something to do during the day. So yes, I am job free and not loving it, and looking. But that does mean that I've got a little bit more time on my hands for things, but it also means that I've got to be much, much more responsible about budgeting. So I figured that, like,
Frugal sucks.
yeah, not this week, but next week, I figured if we did a brisket, that'll feed my family for like 4 or 5 days off of that one brisket. And yes, they're going to get tired of it. So we'll do like barbecue sandwiches one night and we'll do like tacos one night. And then I thought, hey, brisket mac and cheese.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Yes, it does.
All right.
Brisket, baked
Okay.
potatoes.
Mm.
There you
Okay.
go. You're welcome.
All right. So budgeting, but you would think it sounds self-explanatory, but people forget to like budget for like the unexpected things. Like, oh crap, I went out and I have a flat tire today. Oh crap, my battery died in my car. And
You don't always have a friend and boyfriend who can come and bail you out and pick your ass up when your battery is smoking and you're on the side of the road.
Yeah, no, and
That did happen to me. Thank you, Joker and Captain, because Captain and I had just started dating, and yeah.
Yeah, it was anyway. People forget to budget for the unexpected, which I think is the biggest pitfall. But oh my god, okay,
I don't think that's the biggest pitfall.
one of them, because people live at the problem is that people live at the tippy top of their means. They spend to the penny what they make in a paycheck, and when an incidental happens, they're fucked.
Yeah, I may or may not resemble that.
Raising her hand. So people don't budget for that. You are correct. But as the part of this trio that has been at the lower end of our income brackets of the three of us forever, you can't always. You are living paycheck to paycheck. And if you are lucky enough to even be able to afford an apartment, and you have a kid and you have a car payment and you need to figure out how the fuck you're going to feed your kid because you're now making $13 an hour instead of 10, they take you off of food stamps. You're lucky your kid still has Medicare because you can't afford the insurance with your company. And you have to figure shit out, which equals hoping to God that Kroger or HEB or whatever store you're going to slap that 25% off sticker because they can't freeze the meat, whereas you could take it home and freeze it.
Yeah, true.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, which is where
Right.
cooking creativity comes in massively handy. You can't eat out all the time, and God forbid you don't want to cook one day.
True enough. But
oh
my god,
Harley makes a good point though. And it's something that I recently came to realize because we are that family that Harley described that's been living at the tippy top of their means and maybe a little bit beyond. So yeah, me not having a job means that there's all kinds of shit that have to get canceled. There's all kinds of bougie shit that I was doing that I didn't really need to do it the bougie way. I could have done it the much more affordable way. Like,
which equaled a message sent to the group chat that completely confused me.
Did I really need to go out and spend the money to get my legs waxed, or could I just shave at home?
You can wax at home.
Uh-huh. Did I really need to go get my nails done?
I will volunteer to wax you.
Swear?
Swearsies.
Yes.
Okay, so now you have to come like once every month and a half. You have no choice.
No, I think that we could make it a monthly thing because I think that the 8 weeks of regrowth is bullshit. I agree with that. Because let me tell you, all right, 4 weeks and I'm picking up my leg going.
I promise I'll be nice to you and I will not make you do a Brazilian. On me.
Oh, I'll do it. Can I do it on Dar?
No.
Captain will flat out tell you no, because someone bet him. Of course, money was involved. It's Captain. And he did something stupid. Yeah, he's like, never. What the fuck? Y'all are fucking crazy. You're
Yes.
right. We are fucking crazy. But you know what? I don't have to shave and I don't have to deal with that. And it comes back a little bit finer.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Sorry.
okay.
Completely off topic there.
Oh
Has
my
nothing to
God.
do with school.
Oh my God. All right. For the love of all that is holy, I worked with this particular industry for 10 years, and God willing, that's going to continue. For the love of Christ, when you call an auto insurance company and you ask them for insurance coverage and you say you just want what the state mandates 9 times out of 10 liability coverage. That means liability coverage covers somebody else's damages if you are at fault for an accident. Liability does not cover you, does not cover your car. So if
Does
someone
not cover your
steals your
injuries.
so if someone steals your shit, you're shit out of luck. If somebody slashes your tires, you're shit out of luck. And
Somebody goes Carrie Underwood.
for the love of God, there is no such thing as full coverage. Okay? When you say, but I have full coverage. No, sweetheart, you damn well don't. Because if you want to break it down in the terms of an insurance professional, full coverage means that you have liability coverage, yes. You also have comprehensive and collision coverage with a $0 deductible, i.e., you are paying out the wazoo
Wow.
every month for your insurance coverage. And for those of you who are like, well, I'll just have a higher deductible so I can pay less per month, you're absolutely right. But when you get into an accident or something happens to
You have
your
to pay that
car that's covered
deductible.
by comprehensive coverage, that deductible, when you use your coverage, that is how much you pay. It doesn't matter if the other person's at fault. If you're using your own personal auto policy, you are paying your deductible because you are utilizing your coverage. You don't want to pay a deductible? Go through the at-fault person's insurance company. If you are
Hey,
the at-fault
pause.
person, you do not have that option. You can pay the goddamn deductible or drive around and you're broken down hunky.
So I vote
She had to stop
that
and take a breath.
and that's when I jumped in. I vote that on Patreon, one of our free videos, because there are a few of them that are going up. Some for the chaos controversial thing that Raven and I do, which I think we should. Never mind. Anyway, we'll go into that later because I scroll brained. I think there should be a free Harley story time of breaking down insurance.
Yeah, how come we weren't taught anything about car insurance or health insurance or life insurance?
Because it's so people can get money, and though it is helpful. It is insurance is helpful
Well, it's not
in
only
America.
helpful,
No, no,
it's
no,
mandatory.
it's mandatory, but it is helpful in the States because we do not have what some other countries do, and I'm not going to get into that or anything like
Right,
that.
but
I've been exposed to a lot of foreign exchange students. I do have a lot of conversations about other countries and things like that in my household.
yeah, but like how come we were if we have to have it, how come we weren't taught about it, how it works, what the different terms
The thing
mean?
of it is we were not, it was not mandated when we were in school.
No. Insurance was mandatory. Insurance was mandated by your state to carry. What was not
How long?
mandated is what was not mandated was that you were educated about it.
Yeah,
Somewhere along the line,
still aren't.
somebody said, they'll figure it out. No, the general population will not fucking figure it out. I
No.
cannot tell you how many times comprehensive is everything other than collision. All other than collision. Comprehensive is
A
not
tree
the
falls on
same
your
as
car, a deer,
collision.
you hit a deer, you know, shit, what else?
Flood.
Flood. I should have remembered that given where we live.
Hail damage?
Hail
Hail.
damage, an
Think of
act of nature.
comprehensive as an act of nature or vandalism or theft. Okay? That is what comprehensive is. Collision is if you hit something or somebody.
Wait, can you do that
Sure.
again, please?
turn the car into a anime girl or what? No, not anime girl, hentai girl. That's what we told Witchkin one when she killed my fucking car.
Okay, now you have to tell the story.
Oh, I have to tell it. Okay. So this is the story I got. Obviously, I was not in the car with said child. We recently bought. Okay, a year ago we bought a house. A few weeks later, my car that had been with me for damn near a decade died in a tragic murder. Witchkin one was apparently taking a friend home from something. I don't fucking know. She was going down a road that was literally 3 blocks from our fucking house. I'm sorry, it's still I still get emotional. She admits that she was speeding, but not by much. And a deer jumped out in front of her, and she went to miss said deer, and then ping-ponged off the road that I'm referring to has actually really high curbs. Like, they come up over 3/4 of the tire of this
Ouch.
little Chevy Cruze that is no more. And she ping-ponged, and then the only thing holding the tires somewhat up were the cables that connected everything on that thing.
Shit.
She completely split that axle.
Let me give you the insurance breakdown of that scenario. Had she hit
And
the
then
deer, had
oh,
she hit the deer, that would have been comprehensive because she struck an animal. She swerved to avoid the deer and struck the curb. She hit an object, not an animal. That constitutes collision. And because she swerved to avoid a collision, when you are avoiding a
with
collision,
an animal.
when you are avoiding a collision, you cannot cause another one, because when you cause another one, you become at fault, ladies and gentlemen. So Witchkin 1 had an at fault collision with the goddamn curb and totaled the vehicle. Okay?
I got a new car. I love Gypsy, but I do miss. Tally was supposed to go to. Tally paid off. Everything else was supposed to go to Witchkin 1, and now we have, instead of just
Yeah.
my new car payment, we have 2. Well, let me phrase that. My household has 2.
That was Joan Jett in the background.
Did you not send
No,
out
I
the?
totally forgot.
Anyway,
To let y'all know we were recording.
we can still hear you. We can hear
She
you.
can't hear us. We're on her headphones. You wanna let her know that she can be heard?
You're going to be on YouTube, FYI. Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
Okay, so
that
insurance
was
break.
Apprentice 2.
It was Apprentice 2. They just got a new haircut and they look like they're channeling Joan Jett, and it's adorable. I love it.
It was a
Okay, so a few
compliment.
years ago, I had flown to Indiana to meet an internet friend. And I flew into Indianapolis, rented a car, drove 3 hours to where she was. Yes, that was the closest airport. And then the day that I was leaving, I had to drive another 3 hours back to the airport. Well, it was snowing and there was ice on the road. So I'm driving. This is the road right next to the hotel. I'm leaving the hotel to drive to the airport. I'm going 20 miles an hour, hit a patch of black ice, which careens me into the curb. And now the car is unsteerable. Unfucking steerable in the middle of a snowstorm, and I've got a 3-hour drive. How did that 20-mile-an-hour collision with the curb completely fuck up the alignment that bad? I'm still in shock.
It can happen.
And y'all have already seen Dar in the background, so the
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my life. Never
There's
adult
only
moment.
Apprentice 1 and Apprentice 1.5 missing.
Yes. Yes. Which I'm probably going to force Apprentice 1.5 to start learning how to drive soon.
Okay, so that will be fun, and we'll get to hear about those horrors later.
Yeah.
And I do mean horrors because teaching.
Oh, teaching teenagers to drive.
That's actually
I
another
That's a whole
topic that
other
we'll
topic.
tackle one day.
Yes. So,
I'm making
well,
Witchkin to go to freaking class. I don't have it in me. My patience is shit.
well, so what kinds of misadventures did you guys have learning how to cook for yourselves, since we weren't taught in school really how to actually cook for ourselves?
Okay,
Um,
so
Throwback to a previous episode,
she
Harley
burnt
doesn't
something.
cook.
She burnt something in the microwave. She started a fire in the microwave, and this was not. This was when
Oh,
Gremlin 1 was in middle school.
I also started a kitchen fire while boiling water.
This is why she comes and gets
it's
stuff,
not often that
witchy
I'm
food.
at a loss for words. See, I started a kitchen fire because I had oil in the wok, and Dar called me outside to go look at something.
Why did you leave it on?
Because we forgot about it.
I also burned
So yeah, the
my
wok was
hand.
no more.
I also burned my hand pretty significantly. These 3 fingers on my right hand, my pinky, my ring finger, and my middle finger, I burned those 3 fingers twice with a microwave.
Okay, so
Okay, Harley is no longer allowed to use microwaves or boil water.
so I apparently am not like the rest of you, as certain people from my past and present company can attest. Especially Raven, she got to see some of the pictures of my youth that I snagged from my mom's when I was there this past weekend. I've pretty much been in a kitchen helping or baking or coming up with shit for fucking ever.
No, I have not. I've told y'all before, I had a truckload of younger siblings, and so mom never had the time or patience to teach me how to cook. But I was watching, like, not necessarily portions, but like amounts that she was putting into different things, right? So when I started cooking for me and Dara and the kids, I only knew how to cook for an army.
Oh my god, she still does. She's gotten better, but she still does.
Trying to get better, but like
You've
tonight,
gotten better, but
tonight
you
was so
still
much
do.
better.
Good job. But okay, so
Yes, I would cook enormous amounts, and in my younger days, leftovers were gross and did not happen. I'm not eating leftovers. I don't know why I was so bougie about it. So yeah, I'm
because you're a
cooking
bougie bitch, what's your
this
point?
giant pot of spaghetti that I'm gonna eat a serving of, and then that's it. Like, what the fuck? I totally blame my mom.
This is me presently. I don't do
She
leftovers.
does not. It is very rare. There's a few things that she will do leftovers of, and it has to be the next day, and then otherwise it's gone. By gone I mean trash can. And then, but Captain is the same way. Captain has valid reason, and I'm not going to go into that on here.
I
Because
just insist that he's a bougie bitch.
he is a bougie bitch, but y'all both know the actual reason, and I can't fault him. But no, if you're interested in having animals and your family, I mean, if your family can't afford to have an animal or whatever the case may be, if you actually are interested in animals, you need to do the research on the animal. That's not something that's taught in school, even though it should be part of the sciences.
That's true. Like, what kinds of people food can actually hurt dogs?
Okay,
It's
so
more than chocolate, FYI.
Avocados and grapes are
I
2 other ones.
onions are actually horribly
And
horrific
garlic.
for dogs.
Onions and garlic. Raw
Tomatoes.
potatoes. They cannot have raw potatoes.
Tomatoes.
Okay, so that was our doggy lesson for the episode. And
But they
doggy
can
food
have
stuff.
green beans without garlic or onions, and they love them. Don't be sad, Rain. You
So
should pay.
so why? Because anybody who's seeing this is gonna see the sad face that just happened. The reason I was visiting my mother this past weekend was our dog of 14 years. No, sorry, 13 and a half years. She crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and we had to schedule it because that dog has been a fighter since the day she was born. She was born without a hip socket. She lived on the streets for 2 years, and it is my mother swears it is my fault that she had her, because she was mailing me a package when I lived in a different state, and she thought this dog had been hit by a car because her leg was bothering her. Dog's born without a hip socket, and called my stepdad to come over before she just brought the dog home. Well, you know, the sweet girl was in the back seat of my mom's car. Stepdad comes over, pets her. This dog, manipulative, smart dog, just laid on his chest. And he's like, take her to the vet. And yeah, she was in bad shape when the decision was made, but she went right with the vet tech to go back and get everything, and then came back in and got like 4 pieces of chocolate and whipped cream as a goodbye meal. And like the vet and stuff that she'd been going to even was in there with us and sitting on the floor with us, and they started crying too. It was a very, very hard day. But yeah, so that's why I was in the town that Harley and my mom dwell in. And
Yeah.
Harley obviously knew which dog I'm referring to and how sweet she was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a difficult weekend. Okay, so now we're going to stop talking about dogs because I'm going to be thinking about that girl, and I need to not start crying.
What
But
sex ed did you guys get?
oh, I have a great story for this one.
Okay.
Okay, so here's some more Rain knowledge, trivia, whatever. Rain went to Catholic school in elementary school and most of middle school. Sex ed happened in 4th grade in Catholic school. And oh my God, was it so not. Don't get me wrong. Abstinence is definitely the way you don't get knocked up 100%. Unless
It
you
is
believe
the
the myth.
only 100% foolproof method, yes.
Unless you believe the myth. Anyway, whatever you believe is what you believe. That's perfectly fine. Rock on. Whatever. Anyway, I vaguely remember this video, and all I could remember thinking at that time was, that cannot possibly be how a dick looks. Because, and I was like, because I know that's not how a pussy looks, but because I have that, but that cannot possibly be. And what the fuck do you mean you only lose a fucking tablespoon of blood or whatever? It's like, not from what I've heard, but I hadn't dealt with that yet. So thank fucking God at that point. But at the same time, it didn't have you well prepared for when you go into that stage of your life.
Dear God, no.
As
No.
a female, it did not. And
No.
I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. Dicks are not pretty. They really aren't.
They look so weird.
this fucking mole.
We're supposed to take them seriously when they look so weird, and when their balls are encased in turkey neck skin. We're supposed to take that seriously.
And this is why, gentlemen that listen to this show, this is why unsolicited dick pics, they're not okay.
They're really, really not. Solicited
We will
ones.
show our friends.
Mwah.
We will show our friends. We will make fun of you, and you will get a nickname.
Yes, absolutely. No, so
And
my sex ed.
it won't be one that you'll
It
want
won't
to
be
share.
flattering.
Oh, it will. No, it will not be flattering whatsoever.
No.
No, I had
No.
sex ed in 5th grade, and I was living in Texas at the time. And
I'm sorry.
sex ed was basically, this is what's going to happen to you. And they pulled all the girls in one room and all the boys in another in some video that I don't even fucking remember.
It was shit.
And then fast forward, that's it. That's all that I was taught from school or my parents. So fast forward.
See, I was shown a video in like 5th grade because I was born and raised in Texas, and the video 4th or 5th grade, and the video, they separated the boys and the girls.
Mhm.
Yes,
And
I didn't add that to Catholic school, but yeah, they did that too.
do you know what? I cannot think of an actual sex ed class that
Mm-mm.
I ever went to that actually taught sex ed. It was mainly girls have a uterus and you shed your lining once a month. And apparently boys got a lecture about getting wood when the wind changes directions. And that's the extent of it.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
fast forward to when I'm 14 and I start and I'm wearing white jeans
you
because that's what you
fucking
did.
late bloomer, and it sucks.
Yes.
I started at 12, and that was bullshit.
Oh, fuck off. I was 11.
Good Lord, y'all. I'm also like at least 10 years older than Rain and probably 15 years older than Harley. Anyway, so it was a long time ago. So I'm wearing white jeans.
Which was the
And
style at that point.
it was. So then I go to the restroom and freak the fuck out because holy shit, there should not be blood in there. What the fuck is happening? I'm dying. I need to call my mom. I'm dying.
So everybody who has seen it, or if you have not, you definitely should, because even though I'm not going to go into it, and I will apologize for recommending this movie.
Are you going to say Carrie?
No, I'm going to say My Girl.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm hemorrhaging.
Yeah, that's what it was like. I went to the office, made them call my mom, told them I was dying. I didn't tell them why I thought I was dying, but mom came and got me, and then still didn't explain anything, but bought me a package of pads. I said, here, you're going to deal with this once a month.
Okay. All right. So
what the
And
fuck?
this is also pre-internet.
I think my sex ed story trumps both y'all's.
My mom warned me to always watch my drink.
No, I didn't even get that. I had to learn that one the fucking hard way.
So Harley was Harley, and
Promiscuous little bitch. Yeah, we know.
Harley got pregnant. I was actually 15 when I got pregnant and 16 when Gremlin 1 was born.
Mm-hmm.
After I was pregnant, but before I knew I think it was before I knew I was pregnant, or at least before I had told anybody, my mom decided that she was going to go buy a pack of condoms at the store and show them to me. And I remember she unrolled one that was ribbed for her pleasure, and she was like, I don't understand. I guess this is supposed to feel better for you. And I was like, Mom, stop touching it. Stop stroking the condom. Stop stroking the fucking condom. That was my sex ed talk. And then shortly after, I was like, hey, that's weird. I haven't had a period in like 2 months. Huh. I'm kind of nauseous in the mornings. This is weird. I'll get a pregnancy test. I'm broke. I can't afford one. I don't know. I don't know. I think one of my friends took pity on me and bought me a pregnancy test. And ta-da! I was pregnant.
So
And let me tell you something, all right? One of my birthing classes, you know, TV and movies, they make it sound like you go to a birthing class and you learn Lamaze and you learn,
Huh?
breathing techniques and everything. I was in a birthing class where 9 out of 10, and there were only 10 of us, and I was the 1 out of 10. 9 out of 10 were having scheduled C-sections. So they spent the bulk of the time just talking about what to expect when you have a C-section. And then they showed,
That would have been another class I would have loved.
and then they showed this,
the birth class.
this, this,
They
this,
show
I'm
the
sorry, the
birthing
birth
video.
video.
that, I swear to God, that what they showed would have had me fucking joining a convent, okay? They showed the birthing scene from The Miracle of Life, and oh my God, I thought that that woman's vagina was going to decapitate the baby when it slapped back together after the head came out. I was traumatized. And they were like, and the teacher was like, "Are you ready for this?" And I was like, "No." The fuck
No.
I am. No, that shouldn't happen. No,
Dude,
no.
I was
That's not happening
28
to
and I
me.
still wasn't ready for that shit. It wasn't until the third trimester hit and I was so fucking uncomfortable and miserable that I would have done anything to get that child out of me and to end everything. And I'm firmly convinced that that is
It's why we are
nature's
not
way
told
of no, that
the
is
truth.
nature's way of making sure that we're not terrified of birth and that we actually go through with it. That's how the species survives. That's I'm firmly
Because
convinced that is evolutionary.
so it's there's a theory about it. Women remember the pain. We're
Mhm.
not stupid. We remember the pain, but the when you're handed the baby afterwards and you have that overflow of I made this and the good emotions that a lot of people have.
The
Not everybody
oxytocin.
has it. Not everybody has that.
Mm-mm.
So if
They
you
don't.
have it, if you don't have it, there's nothing wrong with you. Just be aware that it does happen for a good chunk of people, but there's nothing wrong with you if it doesn't. Make sure you talk to your doctor.
Yes.
Postpartum is
Can
a thing.
confirm.
Postpartum is a thing. It is a bitch. It sucks. But the we don't keep that in the forefront of our mind. We're like, oh, I'll do this again. That's
Because
my
we're
thinking.
ridiculous.
And
I really wish that I had been given some sort of a C-section class about, just in case you end up having one, here's what you can expect. Here's what the recovery is going to be like. I
Okay,
mean,
no,
but
no, no,
no,
no.
nothing.
The class, when they were talking about the C-section in my class, they were talking about an IV is going to be put into your hand. They're going to give you a spinal. They didn't go into graphic detail and say, "Hey, your insides are going to be flipped out, and it's like, by the way, the fat on the inside of your stomach looks like popcorn," which ruined popcorn for me for like 6 months. Oh my God, Rain, are you eating popcorn? Because I would die.
I'm eating raisins.
Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, that was the C-section class that I had. But
No,
I'm
bro.
gonna
Like,
I'm gonna respectfully disagree because it is humans don't remember pain as a whole.
So
Humans
that
as a whole,
humans
you don't remember the actual pain itself. You remember that it hurt. You remember that it was uncomfortable, but you do not actually recall the physical pain, you don't recall the
humans learn
actual
through pain.
pain. You don't recall the actual pain itself. Think about it. You've stubbed your toe. You know that shit hurts. You know it hurts like a bitch. But when you think about it, you remember that it hurt. But if you remembered the actual pain of it, like it actually just happened, you would be fucking Peter Griffin every time you thought of it. It's the same childbirth. You remember that it hurt. You remember that it was uncomfortable. I remember after I had my C-section, and the nurse came, and I asked her, after you have a baby vaginally, you're supposed to massage your
You're supposed to have it
abdomen.
afterwards.
You're supposed to
Oh.
massage your
Yeah.
uterus.
They still do that shit after a C-section.
Yeah.
They have to. It's called a DNC.
I remember that when the nurse came in, first of all, I still had my spinal was still in effect, but the nurse was telling me, she's like, I'm going to give you a shot in your leg. And she pulled out the needle, and I was like, no. And she was like, it's not going to hurt. I was like, no, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And she's like, shh, it's fine. And I was like, no. And she literally just, and I was like, oh, I didn't feel that. She's like, yeah, your spinal's still in effect. I was like, okay. And I was like, do I need to massage the fundus? That's what it's called. That's what your uterus is called when after the baby's out of it, but it's still enlarged. Do I need to massage my fundus? And she goes, no, you're not going to want to do that. She goes, I'm going to push on it. She goes, I'm going to push on it for you right now. And it's going to hurt like the dickens. And I was like, but you just stabbed me with like a big ass needle, bro, and that shit didn't hurt. I'm fine. And then she was like, I promise you, don't hit me. It's gonna hurt. And I was like, okay, whatever. And she pushed down, and holy shit, I thought that she was digging into my intestines. I thought she was gonna come up with like my spleen in her hands with just
it felt like they were just like doing this number on you, and
oh god, fuck. It was a
I don't remember that.
On top of the fresh incision.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was after the C-section. I was after the C-section. But
it's shitty.
My point is, I remember that was the most painful part of having a C-section for me. That was the most painful part. But I can talk about it and I can recall it, but humans don't actually remember the sensation of the pain, because if I recall the sensation of the pain, I can assure you I would be talking to you like a guy that just got kicked in the nuts.
Okay, so since this is evolved to childbirth, things we wish we knew instead of.
I just wish I knew that I needed a binder after that kind of a surgery. Nobody. So this is pre-internet, pre-Facebook. Nobody offered it. Nobody suggested that I get one. Nothing.
Oh, my nurse came in, and I was moving really slow. It was after they had taken out the catheter, and I was like, oh, she was like, why aren't you wearing your binder? And I was like, my what? She goes, oh, honey, you'll feel so much better after we put a binder on you. And she went, and it's like it's almost like a girdle, but it's elastic and it Velcros, and it just puts pressure on your tummy, and you're like, ooh, holy shit. I can move. I
did not have those for either one of my children.
Didn't hurt.
And then
didn't hurt to sneeze.
Yeah, no. I had none of that for either one of my C-sections. And then 10 years later, I had an abdominal hysterectomy, so they went through the C-section scar again. And that time, I knew that I needed it, and I had one. And recovery from that was so much fucking easier than the fucking C-sections without a goddamn binder.
So y'all had to deal with the C-section and the issues with the C-section. I didn't have a C-section, but so got an epidural. Apparently, my epidural had worn off.
Oh shit!
Oh no! It gets better. It had worn off, and Witchkin 2 was not a little baby. She was 8'10". She's a big girl. Now she's this tiny little thing. anybody who knows what an episiotomy is, I had to get stitched up because I got torn. It's not fun. 1 second. I'm not done. Hold on. I'm not done.
Harley's like, ooh, pick me, pick me.
Do you know how much it sucks to feel stitches at your vagina?
I really don't.
And then given a local
I have
to try to numb
story.
it out.
I have
don't.
Let me finish my God damn it.
Finish me up. I want to tell my story. Oh, it's so good. We're
Is it
never
about the
going to have
first
any listeners after this.
Is it about the first shit after a C-section? Because that is a level of trauma and torture I don't wish on anyone.
No, they gave me stool softeners that apparently were graded for an elephant. And so I was shitting my brains out. And the nurse came in to give me my next dose. And I was like, do I have to take it? Because my butthole's on fire. And she was like, no, you don't have to take. I was like, I really, I don't know. I don't need it. She was like, don't worry.
No, they didn't work for me. Okay, your story.
That's it? Okay. All right.
No, I wasn't. Y'all took over. I was letting y'all go.
Okay. Finish your story, Rain. We were talking about pooping. Go ahead.
I wasn't. I was talking about getting stitches, but okay. Go ahead with your story. By the way, when you feel that you're getting stitches, especially where you've just literally been ripped a new one. Nope. No, not pleasant at all.
Mm.
So
and every little poke, you feel like you're a fucking voodoo doll. Yeah.
So I got to experience a vaginal delivery with Gremlin 1. And my epidural did not wear off. However, my epidural was ineffective because he was compressing a nerve.
Well, he started out being a pain.
This motherfucker wasn't even born yet and he was already getting on my nerves. Literally.
Yeah, that sounds like Apprentice 1.
Then the baby comes out. Whole debacle with that situation because he had medical issues. Then, I'm sorry, listeners, maybe we should have put a graphic warning at the beginning of this because what I'm about to tell you is quite traumatizing. Then
you may have to add that.
We'll add it in post.
After you have the baby, you deliver the placenta. And
if that's not done, there's
I
issues.
look down and my doctor's holding up what looks like a big deflated red balloon. And it's my placenta. And I was like, ugh. And I was beyond exhausted, y'all. I was falling asleep between pushes. I was dead tired. So I'm in and out of consciousness. So one of my times coming into consciousness is seeing my placenta wave like a flag between my legs. Then I feel this bizarre tugging sensation. And I open my eyes and I look down and my doctor has one of those big plastic face mask shields on. And there's a bright light shining onto her work area. That is my vagina. So I can see in HD quality what remains of my vagina. And I see my doctor's hands in the reflection. She's working on my vagina. I'm like, that's weird. Then, ladies and gentlemen, please tune into our YouTube to see what I see next. Okay? Because this is all I see. There's my knees. This is my doctor's face. Here's her hands with a needle and string going,
Oh my god.
to stitch up the episiotomy that took her not one, not two, but 3 tries.
To get the episiotomy or to get the stitches right?
To get the episiotomy the right length, because the first cut and the second cut weren't enough to ensure there wasn't going to be a unihole.
Oh my god.
Fun lesson I learned that day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be embarrassed to ask your partner to use lube.
It's okay to need it because sometimes it happens.
Actually, this is my women's health PSA. Always use lube. Anytime anything is going into that area, use lube. Toy, partner, fingers, use lube.
I can honestly say that that's not always needed. And I
Use
understand
lube.
where you're coming. I understand where you're coming from. However,
Actually, you can actually give yourself micro tears that can collect bacteria. So yes, use lube.
All right. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to you about, well, we started talking about things they should have taught in school, and we wound up talking about things
that wanted a goddamn C-section preparation class.
Well,
no.
Okay.
You know what?
So we did. To be fair, have you watched that yet?
No, to be fair, we did stay on topic because these are all things that we wish we would have been taught in school, because I guarantee you,
wish I would have been prepared for.
We would have been virgins for a little bit longer. It wouldn't have stopped us because we're crazy enough to say, fuck it, let's do it. But it would, I might not have been a statistic. Anyway, all right.
I hate to break it to you, Harley, darling. We are all statistics of one shape, size, form, or another.
This is true. All right. Well, in any event, thank you so much to all of our listeners and all of it.
If you made it this far, we are sorry, or you're welcome in case this is something you needed to know or wanted to know that you weren't alone in. So,
or if you're a teacher
and you got taught.
If you're a teacher and you want to know how to teach your kids to not have sex, show them that last little clip of The Miracle of Life where the woman almost decapitates her baby with her vagina after the head comes out. That will scare even the hoiest of hoes onto the straight and narrow.
Or at least birth control.
And into a chastity belt. All right. Thank you so much to everybody.
All that's coming to mind is Men in Tights.
Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Call the locksmith.
I'm not even gonna say.
You haven't seen that one either.
I'm not even gonna say what I'm thinking of. I'll tell you guys after we stop recording. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and for your continued support. Feel free to hit us up on your favorite socials or at our website, mocmediatx.com, and we will catch you on the flip side. Later.
Thanks, y'all.